everyone. It's 2:05. I think we can get started. People are still coming in. Before we get to the lectures, talking about new concepts, new content, here is what we had on the project 0, iteration 0. You should all have access to the iteration 0 now, right? And you are supposed to be in the right group with your teammates. If you cannot access the project iteration 0, please let your tutor know as soon as possible. And also, if you are not in the correct group, also make sure that you tell your tutor, and they will help you with moving into the right group. Here's the marking criteria. Here's the marking criteria for the iteration 0. Otherwise, I think anything else is pretty clear except for the Git practices. I heard some questions about how do we mark about the merge requests. We said that we asked everyone to make a merge request into the master, and you may wonder how it works. I'm not 100% sure if I made this demo last week, so to make sure that everyone's on the same page and we have a clear understanding of how we are expecting for the merging, I will do a quick demo using our welcome project that we created last week. So here's what we had last week. What I'm going to do now is I'm here in this welcome project. I'm going to create a new branch. So all of you are expected to create a branch of yourself in iteration 0 and make some contributions on that branch, and then merge your branch into master. Last week we demoed how we merge requests in command, using command like git merge. In industry, we normally do not suggest doing that way. So we are working in a team. So one of a team member may make some new feature in a branch, and when you are trying to merge, we normally ask another team members to approve that before that merge request is allowed to happen. So here is how it works. Before I create that merge request, what I'm going to do first is going to create a new branch. Did you remember how we create a new branch? Git what? Checkout and -b. Great. And then a new branch name. Last week when we are demoing, I wanted to make it more interactive and interesting. But in reality, when you name a branch or name a Git, a commit message, we want to make sure it's meaningful. It's a meaningful commit message. It's a meaningful branch name. So here, for example, I want to have a new feature about download. Okay, so maybe we can have this branch name as download. So this branch is about the download or the download feature. So we create this new branch called download feature. Okay. Then maybe I have to do some changes to it, maybe add some new files, add some changes to it. After I've done everything, I want to push it to the remote repo. Did you remember how? Sorry, 1 second, I'm checking for online. How's the voice now? Is it good for online? The audio. I hope it's good. If you still have any problem with the audio online, please let me know in the chat. I have a screen today for the online chat. Okay, so how do we push this new branch to remote repo? Did you remember? Git push and -u and then origin. Yes, that's correct. And I want to push it to the branch called download feature. Great. So now I've pushed a new branch into my remote repo. let me open my remote here and refresh my page here. Okay, so you can see here on top of this page, it says that I pushed it to download feature at this welcome project just now. So I think I have done everything I needed to on this download feature branch. I wanted to merge it into my master branch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a merge request, and I will give this new merge request a name or a title. It's similar to what we did with the commit message. So they gave me a template the download feature. I would just use what is suggested by GitLab, and I give it a description. HL add a new feature about download, and now I wanted to merge into main or master like this. And then when you scroll down, you can see assignee. So you may want to assign this merge request to one of your teammates. So not you, not yourself, someone else. But here in this, it's a private repo, only myself is in here, so I'm assigning to myself. I scroll down and I can see all the team members in this repo, in this project, in this group. But here only myself. And reviewer, you may want to assign another person to review this merge request. Again, you can select someone. And then here's one more choice, merge options. Whether you want to delete this source branch when merge request is accepted. So when someone accepts my merge request, do I still want to keep my download feature branch or not? So I think I've done everything with my download feature. I don't think I need it anymore. So I tick this one and I create this merge request. Okay, oops. After I done this, you can see here's activities updated, UCL requested review from, this is my ZID just now. So if you are the assignee, you may receive a merge request from your teammates, and you can approve that. Oops. Merge request. Here's the new merge request that I just created. Because I am the only one assigned to me, reviewers me. But if you assign to someone else and the other one is a reviewer, the relevant people will see the blue button, ask you whether you want to approve that merge request and if you want to add any comments to it. So this is what we meant in the project repo here, what we mean. Each of you make one merge request per function and merge it into the master branch. And you need to have another team members to review it and accept it or even reject it. If you reject it, I would recommend you put a comment in it and explain why you rejected your team members' merge request. All good? Yeah, question.
So if we want to merge a function, can we merge multiple functions at once? Say for both, or just do multiple functions and merge them both at once? We don't have to worry about them separately.
Yep. So this is similar to when we put in Git message, Git commit message. So if you think all those functions are relevant, they are dealing with one feature or one bug, you can always merge them together. So it will create a commit message in your Git history. Your merge request will also create a commit message in your commit history. Yep. So you want it to make sense. Yeah. No worries. All good? Yep. Cool. Great. So now we can get started with the new lectures. How do you feel about iteration 0? Have you get started with iteration 0? All good? Yeah? Cool? Yeah. If you haven't started, I would strongly encourage you to read this fact and chat with your teammates and at least plan when you are getting started. Okay. Okay, so the new lectures. Whew. So last week you may have already seen like how powerful JavaScript is, right? So now we are introducing another powerful feature of using JavaScript or Node.js, which is called package management. So imagine a scenario. So last week in the lab, we did the leap year. Right? We had a lab 01 called leap year. So it's like not quite long, not very complex function. Or what about if there's something that you think, well, must be commonly used. Like I want to create a button, or I want to have a download feature. So you think this might be very commonly used. I think there must be someone has already done this. Can I use others' code so that I do not need to write from scratch? So JavaScript will help you with that. So it's very scalable and powerful. So this is one thing that we'll explore in this lecture. Another one is after we download other people's code, our local repo, how can your teammates also use those codes from other people? Do we push everything in our remote repo? What if the code base is quite large? What should we do? So this is the two topics that we discussed today. Okay. So now, so there are some libraries in Node.js. Some are built-in, like we use the console log, like it's built in JavaScript or Node.js. But there are also like very broad open source code base out there on the internet. How can we use those? For example, I want to Google or ask ChatGPT, like how do I use JavaScript to check if a date is valid. So for example, I give a date like 2000 in the month of 14 and date 3. Is that a valid date? So is there a way like we can check that? Of course, you can write from scratch. Like you can write your own function to check whether that date is valid or not. However, we can use some more straightforward way, and you ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT give you this piece of code. So they ask you to import this is valid from date function. So in C, you may have like hash include a lot of functions. You use some of them, right? Hash include. We do not. After we install C, like when we have C on our local laptop, we can use those libraries like using hash include. So can we also use that in JavaScript? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a try and see how I can run the code sent by ChatGPT. So I'm creating oops. I want to have a new window, like a brand new project. I have a new file. Open a folder. I want to start with in this demo folder. And I have a new file. What about I call it date.js, and I copy and paste the code sent from ChatGPT, and I try to run it. Where am I? cd GitLab. Do you know how cd works in terminal? Yeah. Cool. The demo. Okay, so now I have this date.js file. Do you remember how we run a JS file? Node, yes. Node date.js. Oops. Here's an error message. Why the code given by ChatGPT is not working? Like it says cannot use import statement outside of model. What does it mean? Right? Like I can use hash include a library in C, why I cannot import something for JavaScript and work as what C did. Yeah, so this is the error we got. We need some tools to solve this. And the tool is called NPM. The full name is Node Package Manager. So it's a tool that is automatically installed alongside Node.js to manage the dependencies or modules or libraries for Node.js projects. When we install Node.js, NPM is already installed on your laptop already automatically. So let's have a check. And see how it is installed. So the way do you remember how we check how Node is? I'm in the wrong terminal. What I'm going to do is put it here. Okay, remember that when we check whether Node is successfully installed, we used Node and return. And welcome to Node, and it gives you Node version. So you can check that your Node is successfully installed on your laptop. So how can we do that for NPM? Control C. Okay, it's NPM and return. So you can see that NPM, this is your NPM version, is already successfully installed on your laptop. So you can check in that way, like just NPM in your terminal and return. It also gives you some hints, like how to use NPM, like NPM install, NPM run, NPM test. We'll get into those very soon. So before we learn about all the NPM commands, what is it? Like, here's a very vague definition of NPM. So what exactly is it? Like, how it helps us manage external code base, external libraries. So here, we will see these three terms a few times in the lecture, maybe in also the future lectures. The dependencies, modules, and libraries. They are basically the same thing, like at least in this course, is the external code base or internal code, like building code base. Like, it's like the module study, the library you used in C. You can think in that way. Okay, so we can use NPM to download external libraries. So there's a website called NPM. So you can just Google and NPM, and you'll be able to find it. So it's like a Google browser for JavaScript code, and most of them are open source. Almost all of them are open source, and they are free for you to use. Very amazing. Okay, so think of a problem that you want to solve, and let's see if we can find existing libraries or modules that we can use in JavaScript directly. Can you think of a problem that you want to solve? Yep.
What if we want to find the holidays of any number of years?
It's a lab. We are not talking about today. Maybe next week. Okay. Something else. Yep.
Maybe in some mathematical modules, I want to try and find let's do some like random number generation, Fourier transform, mean standard deviation statistics stuff.
Okay, so what about we start with some more general math?
Yes.
Or random number? Let's start with math. Okay, and then you search within NPM. Okay, so you get a long list of modules that are available for you to use. Let's have a look at the first one. Oh, 12 years ago. What about this 5 months ago one? Long? What is it? Long class representing I'm not really sure what it does, but while you scroll down, and you can see people will put out some background information about what this module is for and how to use it. Like this start with how to install this module or this library for your project, like how you can use them. They may also give you some examples, like how you use them. Like what about the random? Did you mean random numbers?
Yes, just something like NumPy for JavaScript. We can try num.js.
Sorry, what?
Num.js files.
None.js?
Yeah, try that.
None.js?
Yeah, there. NUM.js.
NUM?
Yeah.
NUM.js? Did you mean number?
That's all together.
Okay.
There it is, because
Okay. Sure. So all of them, like you can see a description on how to install it, and it will also provide a repository like where they host the code for this module. So for example, this one they hold it on GitHub, which is another Git tool. Like we use GitLab, but GitHub is something similar. Yep. So you can see their source code. The one that we will use today is the date functions. Like we want to check whether a date is valid or not, right? So let's have a try to find this date function and try to use it. Okay, so the first one is the exactly one that we want to find, which is the date function. The way that we can install it is through npm I or install, so it's the same, like npm I date function or npm install date function is the same. So let's have a try. Click on it, we'll copy this command line for you, and npm I date function, and you can see that it's downloading now in your repo. Okay, so this is how we get those remote external libraries locally. And then we should be able to use that. However, there will be an error message, and I will explain why. So note date.js. Okay, so we have already downloaded this external module on our local repo. Why we still cannot use this date function? This is because we are not in a correct environment. It's not very clear, right? Okay, so let me explain. What I just meant is we need to have, let me show you first and then I will explain. So if you want to use external modules, you need first to npm init to create the environment for you to be able to use those external modules. So the command line we are going to use is npm init. And it will give you some prompts that you need to fill in some information. And they will also give you some hints to walk you through how do you set up this environment for you to use external modules. So the first one is the package message, and they already recommend you because I'm in this 23 terms rate demo folder. So the folder, the repo name is this. So they already give you a hint. You can click on return and the name will be set for you directly, but you can also set something else. For example, lecture 2.1 and version. So the initial version is just 1.0.0. Just hit version. Description, I'll leave it blank, but you can feel free to describe what your project is about in the description. And entry point, I do not know what is it actually, but I give you some hints like date.js. And test command, we do not have test yet. Git repository, because we did not set up any Git repo yet. Like we just started locally, I just have a date.js file in my local folder. So I do not have a Git repository yet, so I just hit return. Keyword return author. We are creating this together, so I put 1531 as the author and license. And then they will give you a summary of what we just put in. And if you are happy with everything here, you can tap yes or just return. So now let's have a look at this folder. before we only had date.js and this welcome project. However, now we have some weird documents here after we npm init. I will explain those later, but for now, we have already created this environment that we can use the npm install packages or modules now. So let's have a try again. Run this date.js code using node.js. Oops. Let me npm install again. npm date dash functions. Okay. And no. Oops. What is happening here? Let me have a look. Let's try to open this window. Where is it? Am I in the correct folder? Okay, so question for you, like if you can demo or not here. Okay, here is it. Here's what we have. Yep.
I think in your package.json, you set your package type to COMP.js, but you need to change it to ES6. Because you have just set type to module.
Yep. That's a good point. So here is our yep. Okay. So this is something that we have already set up for you in the labs and in the project. However, we'll need to add it here manually. But in your project, you do not need to worry about that. So the thing that we need to add is the tab module. So there are different ways of running JS code in this environment, and the one that we use is the tab module. You do not need to worry too much about that. It's like outside of the scope of the course. And we have already set up this for you in the lab and the projects. Okay, so now everything runs perfectly. Thank you, Jonathan, right? Yep, thank you. Yep, thank you for reminding me. So this is how we can use NPM to use external modules and how we set up the environment. Okay, so now let's go back. And also you can add more modules. So for example, the one we just, before we add more modules, let's have a look at the package.json file first, because we are looking at it. So you might not know what is .json file. What exactly is it? Like why we are having this now. We'll talk more about JSON file in particular in next week's lecture. But for now, what you need to know is package.json file is like where you store the information about your projects, like including the name of your project, the version of it, and who is the author. And additionally, you will also see dependencies here. So we mentioned like 3 terms that is like we use a lot, dependencies, modules, or libraries. So here's the one dependencies that we added for our project. Like we added them through npm install date function. You can also add your name version or others. But here, the important thing is the dependencies here. Let's try to add more dependencies by installing installing more external modules. I'm going to move this here. Any questions so far? Have you got an idea of how we use external modules? We need to set up the environment first, like using npm init, and then npm install the module that you want to download locally. All good? And then we can use the libraries or the modules. Cool, great. So now let's try npm install some other libraries that we have seen. What was that one? Mass? Let's try this long. And the way we install is npm I long. Okay, come back here. Npm install long. And it's installing. It's very quick. Maybe this module is not very large. I've installed it, and now you can see in this package.json file, there's one more dependencies added automatically after you npm installed. Yeah. And you can always uninstall them using npm uninstall. npm uninstall long, and it's removed. Yep, question?
If you delete it in the NC objects, if you delete that there, does it also delete the
No. So you can see where we download it to. We download it to the node dash modules. So when you click on it, it's a folder. So this is a folder. Like when you npm init, this folder has already been created for you. And when you npm install a remote repo, relevant subfolders will be created. So for example, this date function. So this is added by using npm install date function. And here are the functions about date that you can use from now on. For example, in this date.js file, we used is valid. So this is a function from the date functions that we installed. So you should be able to find the is valid in this folder, which is here. So here the functions, the function file already locally on computer, you can start to use and call those functions. All good? Yep. Any question from online? Hope online is all good now. Yep, no questions so far.
So
Yep.
we can just do an edit the first time.
Yep.
And then from there we can just edit other dependencies and it will just be shown under. So npm init is where node underscore module is found.
Sorry?
No, npm init gives the node underscore module is found.
Yep.
And then when you do npm install the dependencies, that's when these files will go under the npm underscore modules.
Yes, that's right. So so now we have date.function module installed already in this folder as a subfolder. And when you npm install other modules, other module folder will be added to it.
And then we added the dependencies as well.
Yes. So after you npm install a new module, one thing will change is here will be add like another dependencies as what we have seen for the long. And another folder will also be added under the node modules with all the functions that you can use.
And then from the files that we download, we can use the functions in that file. Like, so for example, for that, date functions, we
Yep.
can import the files within date functions into our code.
Yep.
Use them.
Yes. So after you install the module, you can import like functions from the module so that you can use those functions.
And these functions are within the module file.
Yes. Yes, that's right. Okay. All good so far? Let's go back to the slide. Okay, we've went through this. Okay, our code is running. We have already seen the package.json file. So for the package.json file, you can also think of it like a folder tree described in this package.json file. It consists of all the subfolder here. It consists of all the subfolders consist in the node module folder. Right. Yep. So this also have another very useful way. Like after we have npm installed an external module, and our is valid function is running well. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure what I'm going on well locally is also working on well remotely and also for my teammates. So what should we do? Git push, like push what I have locally to the remote repo. So as you have seen here, like the node module folder has a lot of files, and all of them are like tags, functions in them. Only the date functions have so many subfolders. So we do not want everyone to spend a lot of time like pushing to the remote repo and also like pulling from remote repo with those node dash modules files. And also these are all available online. Like we also download these modules from online, right? We didn't make any change to it. So other people, like other teammates, should also be able to download this from npm, right? So these are not code like we generated, like not we created. So maybe there's a way like we do not need to push this to our remote repo and our teammates download it, but we provide them like what we have installed locally, what are the versions for those remote repo modules, and then your teammates maybe they can install themselves so that everyone in the group do not need to push and pull a lot of times with those modules. So the way we do that, okay, let me create a new Git repo on GitLab, and then we put everything in that repo and see how it works. It might be easier if we reuse this welcome project so that we do not need to create a new one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy and paste everything that we just created for the date and the module, date function and the node module, and copy those to our welcome project. You can see how large is it. Like even though I'm copying past to like locally on my laptop, it takes quite long to copy and paste this node module. Right, so it will take even longer if we want to push to the remote repo. Okay, so now I have added everything to my welcome project. Now I want to come to my welcome project. Oops, not this one. pwd welcome project. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to git status to check how is everything. Git status, and then you can see that there's a bunch of untracked file because I just added this file, right? They have never been git added or git commit or git pushed. So here we have date and this node module folder and the package.log.json file and the package.json file. Here we do not want to push this. We do not want to add this folder to the staging area. So the way we do that is by adding a file called git ignore, yes. Git ignore. And the file that we want to ignore is the node modules and this whole folder. We want to ignore this whole folder. Oh, I got a question asking me what VI does. So have you seen Nano? Yeah, so VI is similar to Nano. It's just a way of opening an editor in your terminal. And so I did this git ignore, and I put node modules in it. And then let's check again using git status. You can see that the node module folder is no longer shown here. Yep. And I added this git ignore. It means that when I'm adding the files to the staging area or pushing it or committing it, I will ignore this folder, this node modules folder. And then we can do what we normally do, which is git add or git commit. Let's give it a meaningful commit message. Test. Yeah. From now on, we'll try to give meaningful commit message, because how well your commit message is put in your project will be marked. Yeah, let's try to give it a meaningful commit message. So what about add date functions? All good. And now we can git push. Okay, it should have been successfully pushed to our remote repo. Let's refresh the page. Am I in the correct folder? I'm in the wrong branch. Let me check. Git checkout. Git status. I'm using git status to check. Oh yes, you are correct. I'm on the branch download feature. So this is a good point. Like when you are working on your project, we also need to make sure that we are on the correct branch. Otherwise, we would face problems like what I'm facing now. Okay. So I'm going to have a look at the download feature branch. Great. So everything is here now. So now, what shall your teammates do? Like they do not have everything that we had here locally, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this welcome project for now. Imagine that we do not have anything locally, like we are having, we are using another laptop, using another machine, or your teammates is trying to collaborate with you. So what should we do? Where am I? CD. Need to CD to the correct folder. Okay, so now I'm here. So now I'm going to git clone from my remote repo. Why I'm doing everything now is because I want to show you how your installed modules can be used by your teammates. Okay, so your teammates maybe git clone using this one. Oops, I forgot clone. Git clone. Okay, let's check git status. Oops, git status. I'm not in the correct folder. CD welcome project. Okay, git status. Okay, so my branch is up to date. Nothing to commit. However, am I able to use the date function? Let me go to the correct branch first. Down. What was the name for my branch? Is download feature. Yep. Can I use my date function? Can I run just node date function? I can't. Right. Yeah, I haven't installed it. So you can see the error message is different. It just said I cannot find a module. It doesn't say that you do not have a module yet because they already. So you can see here that you already have the package.log.json file. You already have the package.json file. So you set an environment, but you have not installed the modules. So the way we do that is by using git install. Oops. npm install, sorry. npm install. And it will install the modules, like the dependencies. And how do they know which module, which external module to install? Because they have the package.json file. And in there, they have the name of the module and version of the module. So that when you run npm install, they will know which external module to install and the version of it to install. Yep, question.
If you have more than one dependencies,
Uh-huh.
and then we get pull to our side.
Uh-huh.
If we were to do npm install, would it install all the dependencies?
That's a very good question. So when you are
What was the question?
so the question is when you are collaborating with your teammates and when you start to work on your project after your teammates make some changes, what you normally do is git pull, right? You need to pull the changes first. So now the question is, do we also need to git install? And what if there are more than one dependencies?
Will that install all the dependencies?
Yep. You just need to, so there are two ways. So for example, here we only have one dependency, right? So you can npm install the date functions because you know what is it. And you can also just run npm install, and they will check what you have on this package.json file and install all the dependencies that you need.
Do they install the stuff that already have again, or just install the missing parts?
I'm not 100% sure. Yep, but you can always npm install to make sure that you are up to date. All good? One more question is maybe you are thinking like, do I need to git install every time after I git pull? Yeah. So the short answer is maybe. So it's nothing wrong with npm install every time after you git pull. But normally, like at least in this project, you will not be installing external modules every day. So if there's something missing, any module missing, like maybe your team member adds some dependencies, and when you git pull and run code, it will show some error message. It looks like this, like cannot find the module, and you will know that you will need to git install to be on the same page with your teammates with the modules. All good? So it really saves time with the git ignore, that you do not need to push the node modules folder and pull them every time. And your teammates can just use git install to update the modules. Did you have a question?
So you install the function in the demo file, but you can't access that in a different directory. You have to install it again.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Did you mean on another laptop?
No, on the same laptop.
On the same laptop?
Yeah, but it's a different directory.
Sorry, I didn't really get it.
Just install it on the same laptop in the demo file. But it was not installed in like the work
Oh, yes, that's also a good question. So the question is, I npm installed, like for example, the date function in this demo project. Can I use this date function in my other projects on my same laptop? The question is no. It only lives within this project. It's different from C, right? Yeah.
So I have to install it again and again.
Yes, unfortunately. Yeah. If you have to. Yes.
I think if you do like.
Well, it is possible. Like for example, you can have like give it a directory like where this module is. You give a directory like where are you importing it from. But it will make things quite complex if you have a very large project and you are moving one of the projects somewhere else, and all the directories will need to be updated. Yep. All good? Cool. Let's go back to the slide. Okay, so we talked about the package.json file. We talked about the node modules folder. One thing that we haven't mentioned yet is the package.log JSON file. So what is it? So it is where we store the versioning information about dependencies to ensure everyone has the right version. So in this package.json file, you already have some version information in it. However, in this package.json file, log JSON file, you have more detailed information about the dependencies. So for example, this state function, you have not only the version, but also the link, and also its dependency. So for some of the external modules, they also have their own dependency. So for example, this long one, it does not have any dependency. But a lot of other modules depend on long. So you can check that. But for this state function, it has one dependency. So you can see this is its dependency. So we build on top of each other. You can build more advanced models and a lot more dependents here. So these are the modules that depend on the date function. So you can see that from this log file as well. So this is the date function's dependency. So this package-log JSON file has more detailed information comparing with the package.json file. There's also one interesting thing that I saw this morning. Like when I was preparing for the lecture, when I npm installed, not only is shown like how many packages have been installed, but I also saw like one package is looking for funding. Because all of the modules on npm, they are free to use. Like you may ask, like if I publish my code, my module on npm, can I make money by that? So normally the answer is no. But some package, for example, this one, is looking for funding. Just for fun, it's not much related to the course. So they give you a hint like run npm fund for details. So I run npm fund, and here's a link. I just found it quite interesting. And you can see like how we can contribute to it.
500 US.
And no one's given 500 yet. Some people have given 100.
That's exactly why it's looking for funding.
Yeah, it is funny, right? Yeah. Yeah, question. It's voluntary donation, like contribution. You do not need to pay to use the date function, but you can donate to it. It's voluntary.
Those packages that come with the donation, if I pay the donation, I can use all of it?
No, you can still use all of it even though you do not pay any of this. So they are free. So all the modules on npm, they are free.
Or they just want, if you want to fund that?
If you want to fund it. Yeah, it's just donation. Yeah. We got a question from online from Sioda. What exactly is dependency? That's a good question. So dependency is similar to modules, or what we say, libraries. Like, you are familiar with libraries in C, right? We import libraries in C. So dependency is similar to that. So it's some external code or library that we can install, we can use. So those are dependencies. And here you can see the dependency here for the date function is because date function also use others module. This is the one that date function use. And this one is also on NPM. So this is dependency.
So question.
Yep.
So if you're installing a package,
Uh-huh.
that package has like 1,000 dependencies.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean you have to?
Automatically installed for you.
Okay.
Yep.
I know, but you also have to install them, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. So some of them are pretty large because they have a lot of dependencies. So this is also why we use the git ignore. Like, we do not push to remote repo the node modules for that.
What about that dependencies? You have to install them too.
This dependency, these are those who depend on date functions. But date function only depend on one. Yep. All good. Let's go back to the slide. Yep. Yeah, so in this way, like, we push to remote repo the package.json file and package-log JSON file. We can ensure that our environment is completely reproducible on others' machines or our own other machines. Okay. And we have just seen that when we fresh clone the repo, like I delete the demo welcome project repo and I reclone it, there's no the node module folder. And dependencies didn't work, right? And then we use npm install to make sure that we had all of those external modules work. We stopped at here, so now we have learned how we can use modules written by others and shared with us online on npm. So we can also write some custom scripts in the package.json file because we are looking at it today. So here's, we haven't mentioned, we haven't explained much about this, what it means here. So I'll just show you what it does. So what is here is, for example, when we run npm test, like the test here, it will run this part of code in a Linux environment, like what we run this line in a terminal. So let's try run this first. Terminal again, sorry about that. Yep, so what echo does in a Linux environment is just print in C and a console log in JavaScript. So this is what echo does. Yep, so I want to print out this this message, this string. So, oops. Sorry, I don't think I did the right thing here. Oops, my terminal. Oh my god, I also had terminal problem now. Okay, doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a new folder. So cd means cd in terminal helps us go to the correct folder that we want to go to. Another use for terminal command is ls, list all the files in this folder. Okay, so I'm going to GitLab. So I will try to show you as much as I could how to use terminal. And then ls list again what we have in this folder. Did I have it in this demo? Yes, here is it. So here we are here. So what we can do is we can run npm test, and it will run this code in the command line for us. So for example, what I can do is npm run. What was the name? It was test. So it just print out this message, this string that we have here, like error, no test specified. You can change whatever you want. Like for example, you can have hello here, and you run it again, it will be error hello. It just print out what we put here. And you can also have something else. For example, you can have COMP1531, and you have something, for example, equal hi, hello, just as simple as that. Okay, so now let's run this COMP1531. It will print out hi, hello. So equal in a terminal is similar to what we did with printf in C and console log in JavaScript. So that we can add more scripts here. We can even have something like date lecture. What do you want to have here? Echo date. So it's the same. So this is what the script does. So we'll get into more about writing our custom scripts next week when we talk about like JET testing. But here, because we are talking about the package.json file, so it will be good to have some idea about how what it is, so that when you see the scripts in your package.json file, you are not too confused. Okay, cool. So this is what we just had demoed. Great.